Today, we're going to take a deep dive in this man. No homo, no Diddy. That was the wrong word choice, really. But if you've seen the news, if you don't live under a rock, you probably know that beyond, endorsing and promoting Ciroc, this man has caused a lot of people a lot of harm. So Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him, he's very famous and he's been famous for a while. He's had a very, and I say had because to me, guys, it looks like Diddy's cooked. It's about over for this man. I truly believe nobody's all good or all bad, and no soul is beyond the point of redemption, living or dead. But I do think that this man's redemption will probably not come in this life, maybe even the next one, because every action has consequences, and we all got to pay the price of the shit we do in life. Okay. So Diddy has had a really positive career, so to speak, a lot of accolades, a lot of success. He has created his own record label. He's put on musicians like Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans. He's owned a lot of the stake in Ciroc. He has a clothing line, Sean John. He's accumulated billionaire status at one point. His reported net worth was over 700 million. I'm pretty sure he hit the billy, but at this point, man, that shit has tanked. Not to pocket watch, but lawyers and criminal defense and covering your ass is expensive, guys. So I will say that the philanthropy, the donating millions to Howard or the New York City Marathon or the Sean Combs Foundation, that kind of seems like a drop in the bucket of this fuckery. Not to diminish or discredit all the good things this man's done, like supporting art and influencing hip hop or being outspoken in the black community and speaking about racial inequality. This man has caused a lot of people a lot of harm. And we're going to take a deep dive into his astrology chart and talk about his psychology and also the events that have led up to his arrest. But oh man, this is sad and really shitty. In the current day, Diddy's facing heavy allegations from countless people for sexual abuse, sex trafficking, racketeering, running a criminal enterprise. They call these things freak offs, man. Like when Diddy invites you to a party, say no. They said that these parties would involve tons of people, and this is the trafficking. Probably people brought in there without their consent, against their will, individuals being drugged, physical abuse, emotional manipulation, and filming these things and coercing people to keep silent because of the blackmail. That's really fucked up. And Diddy has been in the spotlight for bad news before this, man. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, another musician, she filed a lawsuit against him last year for abuse. And there's a literal video, guys, where he's actually abusing her in this Los Angeles hotel where she's about to get in the elevator and he like chases her down the hallway wearing nothing but a towel and literally starts attacking her, man, and dragging her around. It's fucked up. So she pressed charges on him, and the case was settled one day after it was filed, which is crazy. But Cassie claimed that she was being sexually abused and physically assaulted for over a decade, and that Diddy was really controlling different aspects of her life. And beyond this one incident, man, this has been kind of a theme in his history. He's been involved in multiple incidents of violence. In 1999, he was arrested in a nightclub shooting that injured three people, and these charges were dropped. But his involvement in the major violent altercation remains a black mark on his record. And in 2015, he was arrested for allegedly assaulting a UCLA football coach with a kettlebell after an altercation involving his son. And those charges were dropped too. And that just kind of shows even more his violent and aggressive behavior. He's been accused of bribery, witness tampering. Money can buy power, can buy options, it can silence people. And there's also been public feuds with Drake and I'm sure other artists, but Yeah, that 1999 shooting, that really to me that looks like one of the first things in the public eye that really highlighted this man's fuckery. So this is the transit chart. Let me pull up his natal. And I will say, guys, there's no confirmed birth time for Diddy. So my intuitive guess is that this man is a Capricorn rising, but I can't promise that. So just before I get into the major placements that we know for certain, let me just say that I don't know that he was born at noon. Usually, when I don't know the birth time, I throw it at noon. But even before I put it at noon, I kind of felt in my stomach this man may be a Capricorn rising. But I will say, guys, don't go off telling people that he's a Capricorn because I felt it, because the vibe said it. But I digress, man. You know, if any more skilled astrologer wants to get into chart rectification and let me know, let me know. But Diddy is about 54 years old. He was born in 69, freaky ass year. And that means he is born in the Pluto Virgo generation. But before we get into that, I will say that Diddy's a Scorpio. He's a Virgo moon. And because we don't know his birth time, the moon can be, about 6 degrees off. But that being said, because it's at 8 in midday, he's definitely a Virgo moon for sure. But the rising, no telling. It really could be any of the 12 signs. He's got his Mercury in Scorpio, his Venus in Libra conjunct his Jupiter. He's got Mars exalted in Capricorn at the final degree. And his Saturn is in the sign of Taurus, Uranus in Libra, Neptune in Scorpio, and then, Pluto in Libra. And his North Node is in Pisces, South Node in Virgo at about 18 degrees. And I will just say, guys, that the astrology chart, it does offer a psychological mirror in which to know yourself, but at the same time, it does reflect the circumstances of our birth and the environment we come through and from. So that says a lot. And Diddy was born in Harlem in New York and, you know, self-made millionaire. He got famous and he made a lot of money. And in this chart, we'll go over this in detail, but this guy definitely has, entrepreneurial skill, ability, and ambition. And I would say the first thing is that Scorpio sun. Let me highlight it for you guys as we're looking at it. The Scorpio sun, let me just say the sun in general, is the center of our character. And it really shows what drives us and what leads us forward. And, 1/12 of everybody is a Scorpio, statistically speaking. But broadly speaking, a Scorpio person is led by power. First thing, what does that tell you? You know, this lust for power, the pursuit for power, this can start an unquenchable, you know, void, this desire to gain more and more at the pursuit of whatever. And Scorpio really does bring an interest into depth, the beyond, things that are secret, hidden, taboo. So everybody has Scorpio in the chart, I will just say, because I don't want anybody to watch this video and be like, oh shit, I'm a Scorpio, I'm a Virgo moon, and feel bad about themselves. But in any magnitude, you'll see a lot of Scorpios are very successful and they do have this uncanny ability to put a lot of pressure on themselves to make sure that they do make something of themselves, for better or for worse. So Scorpio to me kind of presents this ruthlessness and this relentlessness and this will to succeed and this need to transform and also just be recognized for the extent of one's power. I'm actually going to open up the aspect grid so you guys can see a little bit clearer into his, patterns and declinations if anybody is interested. So the first thing I'm peeping right off the rip, guys, Diddy's got his sun semi-square to Pluto. So, just to highlight that shit, man, this man is obsessed with power. And that's why he became so successful. But what comes up has to come down, man. And it's not what you do in life, it's how you do it. And for what fucking reasons, man. And I would say that, money generally is a neutral force. It allows you to become more of what you are. So, there's no telling what bullshit Diddy got into in his past before he got famous. But I will just say, man, the need for power and control, the want to dominate others is heavily present in the chart. And I'm going to give y'all a secret about Scorpio. If you don't know, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Diddy's Mars is exalted. Capricorn is the most powerful place to have Mars. Mars represents our force, our drive, our actions, how we assert ourselves and take control of our goals. And Capricorn Mars is world domination energy, y'all. If you've met a Capricorn Mars person or you are one of these people or 10th house Mars or, Saturn Mars aspects, you'll see that there is this unstoppable drive and this need to succeed. And that desire, that passion that comes through is really tempered with the Saturnian discipline and strategy. So I will just say that that's cool because generally speaking, that says that these people like Diddy can basically do whatever they put their mind to. But at the same time, man, there is this unconscious need for control. And there is a want to dominate other people too. And you'll see that in the story of Diddy's life. And, without getting into too much detail, man, I would say you can go down a rabbit hole and look at the disturbing things that he's done, even legally disturbing things to kind of flex his power on his entourage or the people that he surrounds himself with, man. It's very important for Diddy to feel powerful and for him to feel like he's not just powerful, but superior and that others are inferior to him. And that psychology, that patterning really does lead towards abuse, to manipulation, to the breach and abuse of power. On God, that's what it is. And, you could see his, man, Saturn square Mars. That's the same thing, man. And I will just say that that in itself, this kind of leads me into the next point is this Virgo moon, but this Saturn Mars square kind of feels the same way as this internal sense of inhibition, feeling inept, inadequate, useless. When people, life is projection. We can only express what's going on inside of ourselves, man. And to me, this chart looks like a person who feels very bad about themselves personally. I mean, and I also see the afflicted moon. We got Lilith in Cancer. So ain't no telling what shit he experienced in his childhood and how rotten the tree was that he fell off of, right? Because we are a product of our environment. And the natal chart is a puzzling picture, y'all. And this does reveal something about the nature of the soul. And we are going to get into that as well. Oh, man. This one's heavy. But, you know, I can say the beautiful thing about Diddy was he definitely created some level of success for himself. And fame seems to be one of the indicators in this chart. He definitely manifested that, probably for all the wrong fucking reasons. But alas, this is a crazy story. So, Virgo moons, I would say at best, the moon is our internal self, it's how we feel and respond to life. And generally speaking, Virgo is about service and helping others. So, you'll see that part of his story where he does collaborate well with other people and lead them towards success. And that success that he has really is a result of his collaboration, his partnerships with others. And I think, I really think personally, and I'm going to say once again, I don't know this for a fact. This is just my intuition, but I think that he is a Capricorn rising, probably a little bit earlier degree than 23, because I could really see his sun being in, like the 10th or the 11th in a whole sign or equal. But in any magnitude, I will just say, it's hard to get rich by yourself, so being able to help others, lift them up and serve, that's really great. But I will just say the Virgo moon oftentimes is an inferiority complex and feeling bad about yourself. And with the other markers indicated in this chart, a true need to prove himself and dominate. And that's fucked up, man. And this is a little bit more esoteric and out there, but with the moon close to Pluto and the South Node, both of those things to me kind of speak about this unconscious patterning towards reliving the past and being stuck in things that necessarily aren't good or conducive for growth too. So that's kind of shitty. But in any magnitude, to kind of bring this back to the full circle present, I'll just say, he's a Scorpio Mercury. So that's a very powerful mind and deep and penetrating insights and very secretive as well. Let me say that. A lot of Scorpio energy. So I want to be private. I want to sweep things under the rug and really not be seen. But also with this Libra energy, Diddy is very charming. He's got a magnetic personality. He's well liked. He's easy to get along with. And he's got that charisma. And generally speaking, when Jupiter hits any planet, it's going to expand it. So Jupiter and Venus together, these are the two benefics in astrology. And this in itself is a auspicious indicator for wealth and fame. And you can see that man is on the whole public screen. And he's been that way for decades. And he's almost got $1 billion to his name at one point. And that shit kind of tanked. But in any magnet, let me say this, man. Insert Bible quote basically. It's harder for a rich man to enter heaven than a camel to pass through the eye of the needle. And I don't necessarily believe that across the board, but I will just say, man, that need for power, that need for control as a source of inspiration itself is a fleeting goal. Yeah. So to me, it kind of looks like this man is going to be gone forever. And this shit looks like it's going to follow him into his next lives, in my opinion. We'll probably all be too dead to know this at that point, but I'm assuming astrologers in the future will look at him as a case study like Adolf fucking Hitler. And we'll see how that plays out. But in any magnitude, guys, the transits that led up to his arrest are really crazy. And the one I really want to speak on is this lunar fucking eclipse in the sign of Pisces. I'm shooting this video on the 19th of September. So you can see that, almost by degree, the sun is highlighting his Pluto. And that means the eclipse was opposing his Pluto. And that was when he was apprehended and taken in, man. And it's just about time that the diddler gets diddled, man. It's about fucking time. The South Node is crossing over his Uranus, basically just saying that who this individual is personally has gots to go, man. And also, Pluto is retrograde over his Mars. And Pluto's the great revealer, y'all. This is a long transit, a wide sweeping evolutionary force, but on a deep psychological level. Astrologers know, and they will tell you Pluto represents the soul. Mars, once again, is everybody's actions, the way they act and react and assert themselves, right? And you got Pluto revealing his Mars, everything that he's done behind closed doors. And Diddy's pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers have also pleaded his innocence, and they're all going to hell. I'm letting you know. Fuck this evil world. It's going to be more beautiful very soon. And I just want to say, guys, that this case with Diddy is really going to be a precedent. And I don't want to say this is the first, but it almost strikes as the first of many. There will be many more people being exposed for their fuckery, for their corruption. Just remember this, y'all. We are a universe. We are one organism. Life is always seeking for higher expansion and expression. And I know that humans sit on top of the totem pole of evolution, and we look at the animals, like the lions and tigers and zebras and carnivores and whatever, and you see the strong dominates the weak, and that's a part of life, a more taboo and scary thing to talk about. But let me just say this, gang. Humans are smart enough to not have to do this dumb shit. There's no fucking excuse for sexual abuse, for misconduct, for physical violations of anybody. And no amount of money will make that shit okay ever. Ever. The sad thing about this shit, man, is that it takes a long time to evolve within life. So I will just say that we could all look at him unanimously and be like, this is falling off the mark. This is definitely not okay. But sometimes we need some fuckery to set the standard of the precedent that conduct has to be changed. And I will just say, guys, that Pluto is retrograding over his Mars at the last degree of Capricorn. Next month in October, it will go direct, and it will be done with Capricorn for the last time in our lives. And we're going to have 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius. And this is going to be exposing the truth. And we're moving towards a world without secrets. And this should bring you profound peace unless you have something to hide. And with that, I leave you my peace, my love. Pay attention to how Mercury is on his south node and Saturn is retrograding around the north node. And you also got Jupiter, the planet of authority and goodwill and administration, squaring the nodes, just saying justice is fucking served. And he won't be the only one. He certainly will not be the last. There's going to be a lot of people shut down, put on behind bars. And Diddy's entourage, they're next, guys. I'm letting you know. All the fucked up people who condone this, allowed that shit to happen, were paid off and bribed. They're next. His lawyers, too. Fuck them. This world is going to be more beautiful the longer we experience it, gang. But we have to speak out about corruption and injustice. So, Diddy, if you ever get the chance to watch this, fuck you, dude. You're an asshole. And thanks for donating your pennies when you had billions. Fuck you, dude. I love you guys. I plan on making, astrology videos on celebrities, like ones that I liked, more positive ones. And it's kind of weird to me that this is the first one I've made. But Spirit really got on my ass and said, bro, you need to make this video and talk about this and show people how this plays out. Okay. So I ain't got nothing else to say besides, if it harms none, do what you will. Okay. But if it harms people, don't fucking do it. Damn. It's that simple. It's like the golden rule. But people are stuck in the fucking Stone Age. They couldn't get gold if they tried. They'd be like punching it like a Minecraft brick, break their fucking hands. So I would just say with this Saturn Taurus, man, I'm a Saturn Taurus on the third degree. I'm 26 though, y'all. So that gives you an indication of and my birth chart is public. I pushed it in my book, but in any magnitude, I will just say, man, that money is important. We all need money, but the money's not everything, man. And no amount of money will cleanse your soul of corruption. Okay. So be well. I love you guys. See you later.